Unit 6, Learning Target number 12. Read and create histograms from frequency tables. Now, histogram is a word that you may not have heard before. A histogram is a graphical representation of the distribution of numerical data. So breaking that down, graphical means it's a picture. Representation of the distribution, how this information is spread out of numerical data. So it's numerical data. It's not alphabetic data. It's not anything like that. So a histogram is a way to show that. And histograms are very specific things. If we're really talking about a specific histogram, then there are three kind of descriptions of a histogram that are really important. Number one, the intervals are all the same size. So if you notice here, we have between 0 and 20. That's about 20 here. Then between 21 and 30, that's about 9. And then 31 to 40, that's 9. And 41 to 50, that's 9. Our intervals are not the same size. So really, this is not a good histogram. It's not what we're looking for. We would want all those to be the same. So we would have to have 0, maybe 0 to 9 or 0 to 10. Well, let's try this. 1 to 10 and then 11 to 20, and we'd maybe have this broken down into equal size spaces. This is not a good histogram because all of the intervals are not the same size. Also, there can be no spaces between the data columns. These are our individual data columns over here. This is one data column here and another one here. And if you notice, there are no spaces between those data columns. They're butted right up against each other. They're pushed right up against each other. And that is important for a histogram. And lastly, all columns have the same width. Once again, over here, this is not a great histogram because really what we should have is something dividing right there, and that would give us equal size columns. The columns have to be the same width because the intervals are all the same size. Now we can make our histograms or create our histograms from frequency tables or frequency charts. So right over here you'll see we have our frequency table. This is left over from our M&Ms from before. We counted the number of M&Ms in trail mix. So we're going to make a frequency table, we're going to make a histogram from our frequency table. This is our frequency chart for the number of M&Ms per bag of trail mix. And this is our data right over there. So let's begin. First off, we need to create I'm going to use, because I can, it makes it a little bit easier for us to see it, I'm going to use a rectangle tool to try to make these as close as possible to the same size. Now, between 21 and 40, we have about, we had four of those data items, so we'll put that right there. Roughly that size. Might not be perfect. This is not the easiest thing to do. It doesn't have to be exact. It needs to be really close. And then we have one that is 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that. I'm just going to drag it over here, and I'm going to make sure that it's about the same size. Oh, now we have a problem, don't we? They're not pushed right up against each other, so now I've got to drag them and make them a little bit wider. They need to be the same width if they're going to be histograms, right? Histograms need to be the same width on the side. So we won't get it perfect, but we'll get it really close. All right, so now I've got this. Between 41 and 60, there were 6 data items. So I need to slide this up here to 6 right there. All right, now we need to create one more. So I'm going to copy that one and drag it over here, put it right over there. And we need this one for 61 to 80 needs to be about, it looks like I'm going to have to spread that over just a little bit. 61 to 80, there are 7 of those, so we need to bring that up to 7 right up there. And one more here. We can do one more here. Between 81 and 100, we'll spread them out just a little bit more there. 81 and 100, there were approximately 2, so we need to bring him all the way down here to 2 and leave him happily right there at 2. And then lastly, we need one more, and it's going to be right here at 101 to 120, and that one is going to be up to 3, right up there at 3. All right, and that is our histogram. Now we could color each one of these individually if we wanted to. We could maybe give him a different kind of color on this one, and a different kind of color on this one, and a different kind of color on this one, and maybe what color should we use for that one? Let's use pink for that one. I'm feeling kind of pink today. And one more maybe we'll do orange for that one. Orange. And now we have different colors for each one, and it's easier to see those that way. When you do these, we can just do them in black and white and kind of shade in these different guys like this. and that will make it just as effective.